Now she has moved full woke. She now sounds like a sociology professor from SUNY Oswego. Half her constituents are men, for example, and she recently posted a message just for them. "There's no future for you," she said. On Twitter this week, Gillibrand wrote this, quote, "Our future is female, intersectional, empowered by our belief in one another, and we're just getting started," unquote. What the hell does that mean? Manhattan Institute fellow Heather McDonald might know the answer to that, so we've asked her to come on tonight to explain. Heather, thanks a lot for coming on. What does that mean?
Well, it means that academia is taking over more and more of the real world. I wish this was something that was just confined to Gillibrand, but it's not. Yeah. It means that feminism has ambitions to take over civilization, and when that happens, you can say goodbye to civilization. They're trying to disappear males. They're committed to a narrative that America is a rape culture, is oppressive, is sexist, is racist. That's the whole concept of intersectionality, which is a way of describing the growing number of victims and their complicated ways of being oppressed by white heterosexual males. Unfortunately, again, Gillibrand is not some outlier. You have Trump's own administration bragging about the fact that he's spending billions of taxpayer dollars to encourage more females to go into STEM, which means discouraging males. And if you look no further than the opposition to the very appropriate rewrite of the campus rape rules by Education Secretary Betsy DeVos that are merely trying to restore our concept of due process and fairness to these very absurd kangaroo court tribunals, the feminists are having nothing of it. So feminism is really at odds with the civilizational legacy that we have inherited that we have to preserve at all costs.
Can I ask you a really simple, quick question? Why would a group, any group, want to poison the relationship between men and women, which is the building block of everything that's good in the world?
Because they would rather hate. They are self-interested. They have no understanding of the future. They have no understanding of the values and virtues that make civilization possible. And they're simply seizing power and are in a manic rage to efface males. And this sounds hyperbolic, Tucker, but you look around at institution after institution that has been taken over by feminists and the absurd diatribes that are launched against males, and that's the only conclusion you can reach.
Well, you know, maybe 5 years ago I was thought, you know, that Heather McDonald, nice, kind of a hothead. Now I think you're absolutely right, and I think you're really brave for saying it as clearly as you do, and I'm grateful that you did tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.
Well, the war on Christmas isn't real, but it's also expanding faster than American commitments to the Middle East. The latest victim, candy canes. That's next. Well, the war on Christmas is totally fake. They always tell you that on TV. But it's also underway again and got off to a hot start last week with the left launching a new offensive against Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now the war machine is opening up new fronts faster than we can keep up, but we're trying. An elementary school principal in Nebraska has banned a whole swath of Christmas-related items from his school. That would include Christmas trees, elves, Santa, and red-green color combinations. How about candy canes? Are they allowed? No. They're banned too. Why? Because they're in the shape of a J, which represents Jesus. Mark Stein is an author and columnist. He joins us tonight. You know, I just want to say again, the war on Christmas is not real, Mark, so stop talking about it, you right-wing Fox guy.
Yeah, entirely fictitious.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bite on that and go back a couple of centuries, Tucker. You know, the separation of church and state, when the founders came up with it, it's basically that they didn't want President Washington being the head of the Church of America as the Queen is head of the Church of England. That's it. They didn't want the Archbishop of Virginia sitting in the Senate as the Archbishop of Canterbury sits in the House of Lords. And like a lot of sane concepts, it's metastasized into something utterly insane. And when you're actually banning colors, when you're banning two of the colors on the color spectrum, red and green, so there's only orange, yellow, and blue left, you're bonkers. You're nuts. You've flown the coop of reality. You are living in a more bizarre fantasy than Santa and his reindeer and his elves could ever come up with.
You just banned starboard and port. How dare you? Okay, another thing. A Minnesota State University professor tweeted this week that Mary the Virgin could not have consented to the conception of Christ and that God was behaving, therefore, in a, quote, predatory manner. That professor, whose salary is paid for by taxpayers, also tweeted himself decorating a Christmas tree with satanic ornaments. Have you taken any of his classes, Mark Stein?
No, and the reason is this is because 50 years ago, this kind of shallow banality would have been the province of a drunk undergraduate at 3 in the morning. I mean, basically, the idea that God has gotten the Virgin Mary back to his pad, and she's saying, I really must go, and he's saying, oh, baby, it's cold outside, and put some records on while I pour. I miss the days when atheists were at least intelligent enough to take seriously what they were purporting to knock down. The stupidity and banality and shallowness and reductiveness of this is a dismal comment on the state of atheism in America.
And it's not even brave. They'd never criticize Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, or Apple, Tim Cook, or Google. They suck up to people in power and then beat up on the evangelicals and call themselves, you know, countercultural.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic.
And they don't seem to make the same kind of Ramadan jokes as they do Christmas jokes. No, it's odd that, isn't it? I wonder why that is, Tucker.
Huh. So you mean this community college professor, whatever this guy is not attacking Muhammad?
No. This is cardboard courage. By the way, from teachers, even if you're an atheist, the greatest glories of Western, to go back to what Heather was saying, the greatest glories of Western music, art, architecture, painting were in the cause of Christianity. You're cutting out Botticelli and all the rest of it.
Well, the university wouldn't exist without it. So, right. But these
No.
Stein,
From Botticelli to Frosty. That's a very short leap.
So good.
Rudolph and Leonardo, all gone. All got to go.
It's the Cultural Revolution. See ya. Thanks, Mark. Time now for Final Exam. We have news professionals here at Fox who follow this stuff for a living. Can you beat them in recalling what just happened? How's your short-term memory? The ultimate test of that. Final Exam after the break. The best segment of the week, the respite from the real news. Time now for Final Exam. We pit the experts against one another to see who's been paying the closest attention to what's happened in the last week. Joining us tonight, frequent Fox News contributor Morgan Ortagus and correspondent Peter Doocy. Really two of the best.
Definitely.
Are you ready?
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too. I don't even know what the questions are. Here are the rules. Doubtless you know them, but for viewers who don't. Hands on buzzers. I ask the questions. The first one of you to buzz in gets to answer the question. You must wait until I finish asking it before answering it. You can answer once I acknowledge you by saying your name. Each correct answer is worth a point. If you get it wrong, we detract a point out of cruelty. Best of 5 wins. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay. Question 1. Which Caucasian 76-year-old cisgender male has just announced to the world that he, and he alone, is the most qualified person in America to be president?
I don't know about the first part of
I do not. Look, I just read the scripts here.
It's Joe Biden.
You think it's Joe Biden?
I know it's Joe Biden.
You know it's
Is
Joe
that worth 2 points?
We'll find out. Is it Joe Biden?
Old Joe Biden is reemerging to say that, hey, wait a minute, Amtrak minute here, okay? I think I'm the most qualified person in the country to be president, he said.
I knew this. I could have been.
For the record, I don't know what cisgender means, and that's the first and last time I'm ever going to use the term.
Okay, we'll see.
But you're right, it was Joe Biden. Okay, question 2.
Okay.
Politicians come up with all kinds of excuses for their shortcomings, but this week, possibly the best on record. Which not-so-bright Democratic senator said that her party has problems relating to Americans Because they're just too smart.
Oh.
The Democratic Party is just too smart, says this famously unsmart senator.
Oh, I know who it is.
From a state that was added in 1959.
Is that true?
Yes,
the
it is.
59 part?
Who is it?
Mazie Hirono.
Maisie
I couldn't think of
Hirono,
her
you
name.
say. Is it Maisie Hirono who's just too smart?
At a symposium, Democratic Senator Hirono was asked what Democrats must do.
You risked it
to
all.
connect
That's
with
right. I mean,
voters.
I would have
They
been
have
back
a
down
really
to
hard
zero.
time doing
Fortune
that.
favors
And one of
the
the
bold,
reasons
Mr. Ducey, as you know.
that was
I
told
knew
to
it
me
was
at one of
Hawaii.
our
I just couldn't
retreats
think of
was
her
that we Democrats know so much. That is true. And we have to kind of tell everybody how smart we are.
Right.
yeah, just, you know, when you know too
Me
much.
too.
It's
I
really-
also have to tell everyone how smart.
Hashtag me too. It's tough. I just know too much. That's my problem. Yeah. All right. Now, the National Game Show Commission has required that the remaining 3 questions be food-related in honor of the holiday season.
Oh, okay,
fine.
good.
Question 3 in reverse order. Millennials are being blamed for killing off which canned food product because they don't like using can openers?
Do we get multiple choice? No, Peter is killing me.
My guess, this is just a guess, is tuna.
Ah,
Tuna?
Although,
That's kind of an out there guess. Could it be canned tuna?
42%. That's how much tuna and canned
It's tuna.
fish sales
It's tuna.
have dropped
Okay.
since the 1980s. The Wall
Now,
Street
this is
Journal
live,
says young
so you've
consumers
gotta tell the
don't
truth,
find
okay?
it
You can hook to a
convenient since it
polygraph.
requires
Yes.
opening
Did you
and
see the questions in
draining.
advance, or
How
are you the greatest
lazy is this
guesser in the industry?
generation?
I would go with
We don't want to
greatest
drain
guesser.
tuna. And Starkist CEO claims
generation,
many millennials
your
don't even
generation.
own can
what else would
openers.
it be? What other canned food are millennials eating or not eating?
I know,
out of a
but they
can.
can't.
Soup? Soup? You mean
I feel
soup out of a
like
can?
soup, still big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
soup's
but
still big.
twist it. You legalize
Refried beans.
marijuana, and the can opener becomes too much. Okay,
Refried beans.
I'm getting a new direction from our producers in New York in my earpiece saying the following 2 questions are now worth 2 points apiece.
Oh, good, I have a
That's very-
chance.
I don't understand their reasoning, but that's what they're telling
Peter's
me.
killing me.
Question 4. This is multiple choice to answer your question.
Okay, good.
Animal rights activists are asking the rest of us to stop using the phrase bring home the bacon, but they have a replacement phrase for us to use. Is it A, bring home the tofu, B, bring home the bagels, C, bring home the, wait till I,
I did
finish,
too early.
pudding?
Can I hit it now?
Our producers who clearly are on your side are saying they're letting you answer it anyway.
Thank you. It's B, the bagels.
Is it B, bring home the
I hope.
bagels?
Bring home the bagels. And as a New Yorker, I like that. The pork industry is
Right.
pretty ugly, so absolutely.
Which
Bring
I
home the
don't
bagels.
ever think about. I didn't think about it this morning when I ate it.
Are you telling us that you didn't know the answer to that, even though that was you?
Look, it's, you know, the show's over and it's over. I'm on to the next one. I did actually know the answer. Okay, final question.
Wait, so I got 2 points.
Yeah,
All right.
Peter Ducey in the lead, 3-2.
All right.
This is another multiple choice, so listen carefully and wait until all options have been presented before buzzing in. Scientists have now discovered the perfect portion size for French fries. In order to live a happy, healthy life, how many French fries should you eat per serving? Is it A, 20 French fries, B, 6 French fries, C, 13 and a half French fries, or I'm adding this myself, D, no French fries at all?
It is B, 6.
6?
Final answer, Reach.
You don't think it's 20?
No,
6.
because that's like a normal serving of French fries.
Not for me. I'm a 40 man. But okay, is it 6 French fries?
Only 6 fries. I'd rather have no fries than 6 fries. 6 French fries is an insult to fries. And to America, and to France, for that matter. In the study, the professor refers to fries as, quote, starch bombs.
You know, I don't know who that foreigner is, but I totally agree with him 100%.
I do
like that,
too.
man.
The
I
guy
love
who
French
sings in the
fries.
car.
Oh, well, he's
The
very
best-
good. He's very true about French fries.
The best French fries are at the Eagles game, Chickies and Pete's, and you dip them in the cheese sauce.
I agree.
Amazing. Fly birds fly.
It reduces the pain from being beaten up, which everyone who goes to Eagles games is. Thank you both very much. Peter Ducey, you are the winner, and you win the
hate losing.
commemorative Eric Wempel mug.
Do I really get to
Wempel
keep
worked
that?
for Jeff Bezos' website. He came on the show. Can we get a tight shot of this? And this was his reaction to being on our program. We're honored to have him and honored to give this to you.
I think this is what I looked like when I won the quiz.
I think it is. Thank you both very much.
Thanks,
Morgan,
Tucker.
Peter, thank you. That's it for this week's Final Exam. Pay close attention to the news, especially the weird news, all week. next Thursday. See if you can beat the news professionals. We'll be right back. Well, if you've been paying any attention at all, you know that official Washington has been hyperventilating for weeks because the Trump administration has not yet ended America's relationship with Saudi Arabia after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Well, the U.S. can't be allied with countries that assassinate people, they're telling us with a straight face. There must be some sinister reason that Trump is sucking up to the Saudis. Watch the tsunami of false outrage.
It is possible that the president himself, through Trump Enterprises, may have some financial dealings in Saudi Arabia.
Is that Saudi money paying for 500 rooms inside a Trump hotel? What do you make of that?
I can't think of a parallel in American history where a United States president or his family has profited from his office the way this administration appears to be.
He's using the White House to make money while being president and to try to enhance his opportunities to make more money after being president.
And I remind you, the president himself has told us why he is taking the Saudi side. It's all about the money.
Don Lemon, ladies and gentlemen. So Trump is, quote, taking the Saudi side for money. Now, for the record, as a factual matter, there is no evidence of that, but there is definitely strong precedent for it here in Washington. Half the country's elites have made a good living taking the Saudi side for money. They've been doing it openly for decades now. In fact, if it weren't for Arab petrodollars, Washington would have far fewer swimming pools and $80 entrees. Certainly, Bill and Hillary Clinton would be a lot poorer without the Saudis. The Clinton Foundation received as much as $25 million from the Saudi government. They took another $5 million from the royal family's PR operation. Now, why did the Saudis give the Clintons all that money? Because they cared deeply about AIDS in Africa and the childhood obesity crisis? If you believe that, get your resume ready. CNN has a reporting position open for you. But it wasn't just the Clintons who got rich from the Saudis. Their allies did too. The Podesta Group was co-founded by Tony Podesta and his brother John Podesta. You remember he served as Bill Clinton's chief of staff in the White House and then Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman. Well, immediately after the last election, the Podesta Group was hired by, yes, the Saudis to lobby the U.S. government. In 2017, the Podesta Group earned nearly $2 million from that contract alone. Meanwhile, the Democratic lobbying firm Glover Park Group did almost as well from the Saudis. They made $700 grand just last year and another $600,000 from the Saudis this year before bad publicity from the murder forced them to end that contract. But nobody, maybe in the world, tried to cash in like Democratic fundraiser Ari Emanuel. His talent agency, William Morris Endeavor, cut a deal to receive $400 million in investment from the Saudi government, from its sovereign wealth fund. This April, Ari Emanuel co-hosted a dinner in L.A. for the Crown Prince, the one who apparently ordered Khashoggi's murder. Jeff Bezos from Amazon was there, of course. So was Bob Iger from Disney. Here's how Vanity Fair described that evening. Quote, topics that were deemed off limits included the prince's bombing campaign in Yemen, which has killed thousands of civilians, his abduction of Lebanon's prime minister in November, and the repression of independent media and journalists, one of whom was recently imprisoned for 5 years for insulting the royal court, end quote. So Ari Emanuel and his fellow Hollywood liberals wanted to make sure that nobody asked the Saudis these uncomfortable questions. The left cares deeply about human rights, but not when it gets in the way of business with the Saudis. We should pause here and note in the interest of fairness two things. First, it's not just Democrats who've taken truckloads of Saudi money. Republicans in Washington definitely have done so too. And second, the Saudis are not the only despots currently making America's ruling class richer. Hardly. Many of our leaders, again, on both sides, are being paid off by the Chinese government. That's a dictatorship far more bloodthirsty than the Saudis. The Chinese, remember, have kidnapped children and harvested the organs of executed political prisoners. They threw a Nobel Peace Prize winner behind bars until he died. As we speak, tonight, the Chinese are throwing hundreds of thousands of ethnic minorities into concentration camps. Earlier this year, China disappeared the head of Interpol. How much of that have you heard on MSNBC? Probably not much. Now, none of this is a defense of the Saudis or their behavior. In fact, twice in the last 2 years, this show has attacked the Saudi government for pushing the administration into pointless bombings in Syria. The rest of official Washington, especially the media, applauded those bombings. Now, amazingly, the very same people while pretending to be shocked that a primitive desert theocracy killed somebody. Please, spare us the sanctimony. It is nauseating. Well, up next, the Miss Universe pageant is 10 days away, and there's something very notable about the person favored to win. We'll tell you what it is after the break. Well, the Miss Universe pageant is less than 2 weeks from now. The favorite is Spain's Angela Ponce. Her unusual background makes her the favorite this year. Ponce is biologically male, the first transgender contestant in the pageant's history. As SUNY Oswego professor Kirsten Gillibrand informed us all a short time ago, the future is female. That doesn't sound very inclusive or accurate, according to Miss Universe. That's it for us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. We can't wait.